for many years, we have taught that Daniel 9 verses 1 and 2 is an illustration of the time of the end in the reform movement that is represented by the kings of Persia, Cyrus, Darius, and Artaxerxes. That Daniel is the one that symbolically represents those that understand the increase of knowledge that takes place at the time of the end. And the logic for this is very strong. You can't shake it. Sister White, most of us in here know that in Prophets and Kings, Sister White parallels the 70 years of captivity of ancient Israel and ancient Babylon with the 1260 years of captivity of spiritual Israel and spiritual Babylon. There are two parallel histories. And in Daniel 9, Daniel is understanding the end of those 70 years. So he's understanding the end of the 1260 years. And the 1260 years ends in 1798. In 1798, the book of Daniel is unsealed and there's an increase of knowledge. So Daniel, in Daniel 9, when he's understanding the end of the 70 years, he's representing those at the time of the end that through the prophetic word recognize that the time of the end has arrived and accept the increase of knowledge. In Daniel 9 verses 1 and 2, Daniel is recognizing from the prophetic word that the 70 years is about up. Okay, so if you understand line upon line, then this means that Daniel is illustrating the students of prophecy in 1798 that understood in 1798 that when the papacy received the deadly wound, that this was their time of the end, and at that point there's an increase of knowledge. So the first year of Darius, based upon Daniel 9, 1 and 2 and Daniel 11, 1, is the time of the end at the end of the world, is it not? Okay, so in Daniel 11, 1, we have it marked as 1989 because all the prophets are speaking about the end of the world, right? Okay, but we have also understood in this prophetic message that all the two-horned powers of the Bible are typifying the United States, whether it's Judah, Benjamin and Judah, or whether it's Israel, the northern and southern kingdom, or it's the Medes and the Persians. Two-horned powers in the scriptures, because all the prophets are speaking about the end of the world, is illustrating the United States, which is the sixth kingdom of Bible prophecy that is followed by the seventh kingdom of Bible prophecy, which is the 10 kings, it's the United Nations, it's the one world government, The United States, in the terminology of Daniel here, is the Medes and the Persians. Yes? And it's going to be followed by the United Nations, which is Greece. Yes? Okay, so verse 2 of Daniel 11. And now I will show thee the truth. Behold, there shall stand up yet 3 kings in Persia, and the fourth shall be far richer than they all. And by his strength through his riches he shall stir up all against the realm of Gracia. Okay, so where are these kings going to stand up? We just agreed that the Medes and the Persians at the end of the world are who? The United States. Who was the king in 1989? It's Bush the first. Okay. Daniel's right here. Okay, is he not? Ronald Reagan's time ended in 1988, and on January 20th, 1989, George H. Bush became president. Now I will show you a truth. 3 kings shall yet stand up in Persia. Who followed George Bush? Who followed Clinton? Bush the second. Bush the first. Who followed? Okay. 3 kings shall yet stand up. And the fourth. What is the characteristic of the fourth? Oh, far richer. And what is he going to do? He's going to stir up everyone against Greece. And what is Greece? Greece, the United Nations, is many things. But let me tell you something that the United Nations is. There's so many things you can connect with the United Nations, and this one will seem a little bit obscure to you, but it is absolutely airtight. A philosophy of the United Nations, of these globalists, is political correctness. They use political correctness to reign in the world. Okay? This fourth king that is going to be richer than them all is going to rally the people of the United States against these philosophies of Greece. Who's the rich guy? Well, let's just define it this way. Is Trump richer than Obama? Maybe not the Bushes, not in the Bush heritage, but as a singular individual. You heard what George Bush, or what Trump did to England here, didn't you? When they, last week, or within the past 2 weeks, after he said something about not allowing any Muslims to immigrate into the United States, in England they took up a petition not to allow Trump to come into the United Kingdom anymore. And what did Trump do? He says, I got $1 billion worth of investments I'm just about ready to make in Scotland and England, and if you don't back down, I'm pulling my $1 billion out. Okay, so none of these guys ever pulled that nonsense, right? Okay, so that's just a provocative little insight, because we are grappling with the fact that the messengers of this message are about to give a prediction. And here in Daniel, you may very well see a prediction.